if you look at it here, the heading here tells you where the information are coming from. It says this is one. This is control numbers coming from this is 53B, chapter 3. This guy. This is AC, 853B. Chapter 3, access control is 1. Control number, control name. Control number, control name. Then control description is coming from 853. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. The main 853 is this guy. Chapter 3. Access control. This is the control, it's the one that you're seeing, in the control table there is one. This is control requirement. This is what you are seeing here. It tells you where it came from. Then test requirement is the assessor's step. Determine if 53A. That comes 53A. This one. This is 1. Score is 0, 1 here. Including, says determine if. Including the method. Examine interview. This assess test requirement from chapter 4. Remember, this came from chapter 4 of the 53A. The examine interview didn't say test. So, and then relevant security artifact or evidence coming from coming from this is 53A chapter 4. So the evidence this is evidence. For instance, like I said, how we created this evidence, which is in our request list here, is by we look at the control numbers, control name, say, give me evidence of this. But give me access control procedure and procedure. Give me, it's a document, just ask for it. You just want to confirm whether it's in place, or you can grab request one of the examine item, says examine the 53 is examine this document, access control policy and procedures. And that's what you're seeing, access control policy and procedure, you see here. We'll make it a request. So we will put in a request. I'll only put it here for training purpose. Remember, we have a separate document for it. Request list. For instance, look at this AC8. So this is, you can search for these things. You can go to AC8 here. I can just do Control F, AC08. If it's single digit, 0 is in front. See, I can say, give me evidence of system notification. Okay, or I can say, look at the examine side and say, give me one of the, say, they suggested a bunch of stuff, but you only need one. See, all you need is evidence that system notification is in place on system. It's not, even though they say access control policy, it's not policy, it's not procedure. It's an actual document. Or you see, it was a screenshot. So now, we know it's something that should be configured on the system. So it says we ask for system unification settings, no. System unification message here, best. We want to see that message. It's also called warning banner. You say, give me system unification message, or give me evidence of system unification based on the control name. Look at this one. System unification message was suggested. That's the best among those options. See? So that's what you are seeing in our request here. So the message or banner. It was obtained from that examine side of the 3A. That's why it says your request is coming from 53A, chapter 4. That's examine side. Or you can just turn the control name into your evidence. Just say, give me evidence. Put evidence at the beginning or at the end. This semi-education evidence. That's all you need. They'll give you. Or grab the best of the assignment option. Just one. You don't need, just need one. One. Because at the end of the day, you just want to convince yourself that that thing is in place. For instance, when they show us this, we know it's in place on that system. Okay. So, and so now, and then relevant interview questions. You might have your question somewhere. Remember, you send them meeting request. When they show up at the meeting, you need to ask question, right? So, because it's from that evidence they've given you and the response during interview meeting that will determine your observation. So, you already made your request. You also need to ask question during the interviews. And your questions is derived from 8153 or 53, preferably from 53 control description for simplicity. The 53 control description is this one. It says they should develop document policy and procedure. Policy, procedure, and review it. Develop policy, procedures, and review it at the frequency. That's what is required. Those are the keywords you see in red there. Just ask them, are you doing these things that were required of you from this control description? As the organization develop policy and procedure, they're supposed to disseminate it to people who need to review it. They're supposed to develop, document, and disseminate policy, procedure, and review it. As the organization develop policy, procedure, how are the policy disseminated to employees? We need to be aware of it. We also need to ask questions about review, because they're supposed to review how far the policy and procedure reviewed and updated. Okay. And system owners respond, they will respond to you. As you're asking questions, whoever among the stakeholders your question relate to, whose job your question relate to will answer you. If nobody answers you, system owner will answer you. They ask some answer your question. Remember, stakeholders, what is them specialists who are managing different aspects of the system are reporting to the system owner. The system owner is the head of department that owns that system. So they are there at the meeting. The ISSO is there at the meeting. All the other stakeholders, others are there at the meeting to answer your questions. So they will answer. And you need to take note of what they are saying. You can go to the meeting with pen and paper and take quick notes, and that you can go and develop when you sit down at your desk to develop your RTM. Or you can type their response into your RTM if you can type fast. You cannot record them because you cannot record anyone except you take their permission. And if you ask for the permission, they will not give it to you. People don't want to be recorded. So just take your pen and paper to write down their response or type to the RTM at the meeting as quickly as you can without wasting their time, without saying, hey, hold on. And then you no longer, the meeting needs to flow without, uh, uh, long waiting period for you to write down things. So you can write important points. So when you ask the question, as organization develop policy and procedure, so that was a question number one. Based on this control requirement, they answered you. Don't say everything you can. Double click, highlight, and go. Highlight the power one. It says, yes, we have formal access control policy and procedure. The policy was developed at the head office but the procedure was developed specifically for this system being discussed. So they said they have policy and procedure. Your question number 2 was, how are the policy and procedure sent to employees? You need to be aware of them. So both policy and procedures are made available to employees through the internet. You asked the third question, how often are the policy and procedure reviewed and updated? The answer you. You know the policy says both policy and procedure should be updated, reviewed and updated yearly. The policy was updated last month based on the date on that document, but a security contractor that was supposed to update the procedure who has been unable to do so this year due to lack of funds to keep him on the project. The procedure was updated 2 years ago. So they were supposed to update their policy and procedure every year. They updated the policy, but they did not update the procedure. Okay. So no excuse is good enough. Just didn't do what they were supposed to do. You give them a finding for that. So you write your observation here. This is your observation as an assessor coming from the evidence they gave you here, review of it, and their response during the interview to your questions. So we obtained access control policy and procedure. We noted that the policy was reviewed and updated in the last 1 year, but the access control procedure has not been updated in the last 1 year. That's the issue. This blue part is the issue right here. The test started, that's FYI. The test highlighted blue here represent the security findings weakness noted in the findings to be reported in the assessment report. That is the controls, therefore fails. The control therefore fails. And then that issue which you are talking about here is found reported in the assessment report. This issue will now go to the assessment report right here. And if that was access control, it's going to go under the access control is one of the, is one of the technical controls. Yeah. It's put the control number. It's just an example. The control requirement or description, the issue that it has, the recommendation, risk level based on likelihood and impact. So issues will end up in the assessment report. But if the control passes, it will stay in the RTM. Okay. So you can see they are the same thing. So so I'm going to ask you to fill out all this yellow part. And if you're able to fill out the yellow part, then you just became a security assessor. That's what an assessor does. They fill out the RTM. Okay, so you use this example we just went through to do the rest. But remember, the things that are here are coming, the heading here tells you where they're coming from. So if you pay attention to that, you can't go